Today's brought to you by Silvercrest Opportunity Fund. Invest accredited and earn a 10% net return for terms as low as 1 year, investing like Warren Buffett. Hey everyone, we're here early morning at the Sunrise Capital Conversation with Sean Gibson and Alden Guajardo. We're here today with Mobile Mailbox Money, Win Mobile Homes, and Silvercrest Opportunity Fund, enjoying this sub 100-degree weather here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Sean's in Phoenix. Sean, how's your morning going so far?
Oh, it's going great. The sun's rising. Beautiful day in here in Phoenix. I'm sure it's going to be 155 today, I'm sure. So it's going to be good. Arizona summers.
A lot of people are speculative on the market right now, and the summer being hot doesn't help. But, we still got deals going down. At the end of the day, it's important to make money in up and down markets. And how do you do that consistently? And that's about becoming a note investor and earning returns and contractually agreed upon terms with terms as low as 1 year. So, Sean, what do you got for me this morning? You got maybe a couple cool questions to let people know about, how we're operating or get a little bit more intimate about our program.
Yeah. So what I want, a lot of people want to know. Of course, they know that our notes are fantastic, double-digit returns, but they want to know. They want to start with an asset, which the manufactured housing mobile home. How do you find them? We'll start first. How do you find them? Like, do I just go to a mobile home? Do people go to mobile home park and just buy one? Is the asset great? How do you? How do we? Let's start with an asset in mind first.
So you could go buy my book and get a full step-by-step process on how we buy and flip manufactured homes. But little key, little gem this morning. We started just driving mobile home parks, looking for sale by owners. Also, ultimately talking to park managers and things of that nature, they end up coming across quite a few deals because people fall behind on payments. And the first person they go talk to is the park manager. Why? Because lot rent's due on the 5th of every month, and they're the first people to hear about.
Okay. Excellent. So obviously we talk about again the node, and people don't think about the asset. So when you buy a mobile home, how do you know? I mean, I've heard you guys convert, add another bathroom or reconfigure the house, or how do you, when you buy asset, what is your thought process to get to the end goal, which is securing the note, finding a buyer? But what's your first process when you walk into a manufactured home and it's got 20 years of garbage and no AC and it smells like cat stuff? What's your process when you first get the asset?
I think, evaluating the area and the demand for a specific product is extremely important because that'll ultimately dictate what kind of rehab you do and what kind of seller finance payment you can get at the end of the day. You can definitely over rehab a property for the area, for the community. So it's important to be first, understand the dynamics of the current market of where you're at, what cross streets and what the market will facilitate as far as affordability and consumption of a rental rate for an end user. Uh, but we're trying to maximize available beds and baths without adding square footage. So within the same physical unit, adding new cabinets and granite has been a good push for us, ultimately providing a superior product. But 2 bed, 2 bath is really kind of benchmark. 1 bed, 1 baths are like kiss of death, depending on what park they're located in. Uh, but say a family park in Tempe, right, is a lot more desirable and will facilitate a higher purchase price with quality in mind than in comparison to, say, a Apache Junction market. So definitely city market contingent on our rehab of how we deem it to be a successful program at the end with list price. If it's a little bit more desirable of a market, they're going to facilitate a higher level rehab. So tile showers, tile backsplash, new granite, new cabinets, stuff like that. Whereas Apache Junction, they're looking for more affordability.
Excellent. Okay. So, we've got I'm sure a lot of fix and flippers you talk to, and they're always like, they always go to the MLS. This comp was this comp was that. But on manufactured housing mobile homes, we don't have the same comp system. It looks like you see manufactured homes on the MLS, but how did you become a market expert in comparables and like knowing what manufactured housing will sell for in certain areas? How did you become an expert? Because it's not really a system, so to speak, that I've
I
seen.
think, over 8 years and 300 transactions, we've got probably a better temperature gauge than any MLS agent in Arizona on manufactured home values. Doing 300 transactions and facilitating seller carry financing, we get a better touch on what values are in manufactured housing than any other individuals. The appraisers for the third party lenders like 21st Mortgage and a few others use data comp. Data comps actually they do all of the manufactured home appraisals, and they know my name personally. I actually have my cell phone number, so we're intimate with appraisal values in manufactured housing. MH Village is a great reference. That's what we use a lot of the time. They're kind of going to the wayside for whatever reason. People aren't using them as much anymore, but that's a great place to for the layman to try and go and comp a property. Manufactured housing is tough to put up against residential pricing, but residential pricing has escalated to such an unaffordable price point that so has manufactured housing. As the available housing inventory increases and rental rates increase, so does mobile home pricing. So it may be tough at any given time to get a specific appraisal value on a property, but us being a market niche market expert in personal property manufactured housing and our brokers price opinions normally pretty dead on, at the end of the day. So definitely of concern for people to validate the value of the property, to facilitate the unpaid balance on the loan, to make sure that everything checks out as a capital investment standpoint. Uh, so, kind of tough to get an appraisal. You could order one on data comp. They want, 500 to 700 bucks, and that's up to the investor. But we could show comps, we can show previous sales, we can show 4-year track record in most of these communities, ultimately to corroborate our professional opinion on pricing.
Okay, excellent. And what do you think the biggest myth is in manufacturing our mobile homes? What do you think the biggest myth is when someone hears manufactured housing and mobile homes? Kind
I think a lot of people, from capital investment and to end users, they attribute it to trailer trash, which is not the case. Now with new institutional appetite in mobile home parks, the quality has risen. People, this is not your grandma's mobile home park anymore. uh, as these institutions have appetite to buy mobile home parks for the 50-year hedge, they increase value, they increase quality, they increase efficiency, they pave the streets better, they add grass and add landscaping, ultimately upgrading the property. Uh, so at the end of the day, the biggest misconception is Trailer Park Boys, the Netflix series.
of
That's not the case anymore. This is actually a palatable solution for an end user to facilitate affordable housing, but also in a time when it's needed most, providing a capital investor an actual housing unit, end user, borrower, and a collateralized lending opportunity in a niche market for them to earn a higher than average rate of return in comparable adjacent strategies. To me, it's a new day and age, people. If you attribute your likeness to being a boomer, it's time to pivot at the end of the day. There's hardship in multifamily, there's hardship in single family pricing, rental rates don't cash flow because of interest rates. Here's your opportunity. This is the treasure trove at the end of the rainbow at the end of the day, and to find an asset that's highly misunderstood, highly undervalued, and not a lot of competition operating in the space. To me, it seems like a better time more than ever to look back into manufactured housing. Uh, because you're missing the boat at the end of the day. We're helping investors acquire assets at, say, 80,000 bucks, paying $700 or more a month with no banks. Where else can you do that in the financial market currently for an income-oriented investment strategy? You know what the answer is? You can't. You can't find it, literally. For a collateralized lending opportunity and a double-digit interest rate outside the stock market, this is it at the end of the day.
excellent. Yeah, though, thank you. That those are great answers. That's all. Those are most of my top couple questions that I have for you this 6 10 a.m. hour. So yeah,
That's great. We're right here at 10 minutes, so that kind of rounds up the morning. We got multiple notes immediately available, whether construction for short term at a double-digit interest rate or a higher yield for a first lien seller finance note. No matter what your appetite is, we may have an opportunity for you. And the fact that majority of our business is in personal property transactions and lien positioning, if you have been following our channel for the past couple years, you know that most of them are chattel mortgages. Well, we have opportunity in residential lien positioning in first and second. Highly knowledgeable with our new partnership in niche market notes and private lending with sufficient equity cushion for our seconds to provide upwards of an 18% return internally. And we look for double-digit interest partners secured by second lien collateral and high equity cushion ultimately to facilitate risk mitigation. That's residential property lien positioning. We also have some 70% loan to value on single family for fix and flip loans. Those loans will mature probably within 6 months. And we may be even able to pay the entire 6 months of interest and then roll you into another opportunity. So if you're a W-2 high income earning individual making, two, three, $400,000 a year, you have a problem. You have a problem with money in your account, or it's sitting in a low yield savings account or mutual funds making 3 to 6%. Well, here's your opportunity to either invest in the fund accredited and earn a 10% net return for 1 year term or 12% net for three, or non-accredited buying a single note with one investor, non-portfolioizing debt, and one investor on one loan, and you start participating outside the stock market. Sean, appreciate having you on the channel this morning. We're here 6:10 at Chaparral Dog Park. We'll probably hit the gym, hit the cold plunge. We've got Business Network International today. That's if you're free. That's today at 11:15 at Orange Tree Golf Course. Win Mobile Homes and Mobile Mailbox Money has received upwards of $2 million in transactions from our membership in Business Network International. So, Sean, quick check in this morning. Thanks so much. Where should people go if they want to buy a note?
oh, they've got to go to mobilemailboxmoney.com, or they can call us at 602-888 cash.
Boom, that's it. Sean, what's
Bye.
your extension?
I'm extension 106. Call me specifically. I'd love to help anyone. Just looking for a passive income.
So we got opportunities immediately available for capital investment and end users. That's Scottsdale, Arizona, and what we call mobile mailbox money. Appreciate it, Sean.
Take care. Thanks so much.